Good morning, everyone. I'm Bob Donaldson in for Dan. Indiana's statewide mask mandate is now a mask advisory. This is now the first weekend in 9 months where a mask is not required everywhere across the state. Earlier this week, Governor Eric Holcomb defended his decision to lift that mandate.
I still couldn't be more clear about the need to play this through to the very end. Make sure, as was said inside under the tent, to practice physical distancing, 6 feet. Outdoors is better than indoors. Wear a mask when you're around others. I'm going to continue to do that.
It's now up to local and county health departments to set any COVID restrictions. So far, 14 counties are lifting the mandate. Several others, including Marion and Monroe counties, are keeping their mandates. This week, Indiana Senator Mike Braun was in the state and defended his fellow Republican for lifting that mandate.
I've been one from the get-go that said, pay attention, respect it, and I think that has pretty well ended up being the case. On the other hand, I was a little bit unhappy with mandates and things coming from the top down, whether it was the federal government to states, states to counties. But I think in Indiana, we've done a decent job. Our economy reflects it.
We'll hear more from Senator Braun on his recent trip to Mexico, to the Mexican border. That's just ahead. Late this week, Governor Holcomb vetoed a bill that would have limited his powers in an emergency. Some have called that bill unconstitutional. Kayla Sullivan explains how this issue will likely be settled in court.
It's very rare that you have the same party suing each other in court over constitutionality of an issue.
But that's a large possibility over House Bill 1123. It allows Indiana lawmakers to call themselves into session during a statewide public emergency. The current state constitution only grants that power to the governor, but it doesn't say lawmakers can't.
Lawmakers say, hey, the Constitution is silent. So if it's silent, that means we can do it. Says it doesn't say we can't, which is a bit sketchy.
Abdul Hakim Shabazz is an attorney and publisher of Indy Politics. He says he agrees with the governor that this is unconstitutional. Governor Eric Holcomb says he supports parts of the bill, but when asked whether he would sign it,
I can answer that in 4 letters, and it's VETO.
Holcomb understands lawmakers' desire to guarantee more involvement in the process. The bill also grants them the ability to oversee spending of federal dollars during an emergency.
It should be expected that we work together.
And Holcomb says they've been doing that, though some lawmakers disagree. But Republican leadership says it was their choice not to call a special session during the pandemic. It's the future they're worried about.
This just allows the legislative body to have an opportunity to be clearly engaged.
Speaker Houston says a veto override is likely, and so is a lawsuit.
The courts will have a chance if somebody wants to bring a constitutionality concern, obviously the courts would make that provision.
A risk many lawmakers say is worth taking. From the Indiana State House, I'm Kayla Sullivan.
And this week, we're getting some perspective on the fallout from this legal fight between the governor and the legislature from 2 former state lawmakers, former State Rep Christina Hale and former State Senator Jim Merritt, who both spoke with our Dan Spieler.
You served for many years in the state Senate. You're also considering a run for governor in the future yourself. How do you see this legal battle playing out here between the governor and the first branch of government, the state legislature?
Well, to me, it's disappointing. It's upsetting. I certainly wish the governor had served in the legislature. I think he would understand where, a large majority of the members of the General Assembly voted for House Bill 1123, and what alley we're going down right now has an ending, and what the legislature has decided that they believe is constitutional isn't constitutional, but also the governor has to realize that those 150 people are the troops on the ground. And Indiana is made up of 400 communities, and those individuals have been to church and they've been to the gym, they've been to the local store, and they're hearing from their constituents. And it's there's a solution here, and I'm just disappointed that it's gotten this far. And I think you probably know me well enough, Dan, that when you're a legislator, you decide law. You don't decide if a judge is going to consider your law constitutional. You are the end, and the judiciary is the third branch of government, but you make the law. And to be kicking the can down the alley of if it's constitutional or not, that is not how we should do business in the state of Indiana.
In terms of the pandemic itself, anything you would have done differently had you been serving as governor now, or had you been elected mayor of Indianapolis when you ran a couple of years back?
Well, first of all, the Polk administration has done an outstanding job with the vaccination, with vaccinating hopefully all 6.6 million Hoosiers. I have elderly parents, and it was a cluster down in Florida, but Indiana has been well done, incredibly. The governor has done his best. I think leaving it to the county health departments would have been a good idea, because everybody has a different walk in life. But on the whole, the Holcomb administration has taken this enormous problem and created it somewhat like a war, and I think has done a very good job with it.
Former State Senator Jim Merritt, great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, here now with Christina Hale, former state representative, former candidate for Congress. Great to see you again.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thank you.
We've been talking on this program about everything going on right now with COVID-19, everything going on at the State House. You used to serve in the legislature. What do you make of this back and forth between the governor and lawmakers in his own party about the governor's powers in the midst of a pandemic?
Well, it's kind of epically awkward, isn't it? You know, when you have a supermajority, and that's one party that doesn't even need any member from the minority in the room. They're likely going to be overturning a veto from a sitting governor. That doesn't happen every day, and I think the internal politics there have to be pretty interesting, especially when all that we seem to see on the news are a bunch of smiles. I don't think they're smiling behind the scenes.
Yeah, a lot going on there, no doubt about it. You just wrote an op-ed with a number of other Democrats about the situation and the political dynamic in Washington. Republican lies helped defeat us in 2020 is the title. We're going to shield House Democrats in 2020. They write, Republicans hope to win House control back by connecting swing district Democrats to ideologies, policies, and slogans they reject. We'll be ready this time is the title. What does this mean in the 5th District, where you were in a close race, you lost to Congresswoman Spartz? How do you see things evolving next time around as we move toward 2022? And are you interested in running again yourself?
No, but I continue to be interested in telling the truth. And, that's just a cornerstone of our democracy. And I'll tell you, if I had a nickel for any time somebody said to me, but Christina, all those commercials, and you just hear lies repeated time and time again. I tell you, it was really hard on my family. I sure don't like to see it. And we've seen some really good people lose their seats. Sitting members like Social Tourist Small, New Mexico, who faced just outright lies as I did. I am a proud capitalist, and I can't tell you how many times, commercials, mail that would come to the home, calling me a socialist. It's absolutely not true. And as the granddaughter of somebody who fled communist Cuba, it got quite personal for me as well with my family.
You're not interested in running again a second time, or is it something you might consider?
Oh, I'm really looking right now just to support good public policy. I think we're going to have some very different looking congressional maps. You know what it's like too. I mean, everybody, it comes down to all the hyperbole and the name calling, the last really 60 days of a campaign cycle. And this effort too is about getting the word out ahead of time so people can learn the truth, know who their elected officials are, know what their records truly are, and that we're people that are supporting good business, good families, and opportunity for everybody.
Former State Representative Christina Hale, thank you so much for being with us. Great to see you again.
Oh, thank you. It's good to see you.
Almost 172,000 people stopped at the U.S.-Mexico border in March. That was the most U.S. Customs and Border Protection has seen in 1 month in at least 15 years. Of them, 19,000 were children and teenagers traveling without a parent. Sheriffs from across the U.S. are sending a letter to President Biden urging him to make changes at the border to keep migrants from coming over unchecked. Indiana Senator Mike Braun just returned from a trip to the border where he toured migrant detention facilities in Texas. He called the experience an eye-opener.
It was just overwhelming to see how big the surge was when we were in the facility. Just very overcrowded. It was a lot worse than what I imagined because we were getting filtered information recently. Comprehensive immigration reform has got to be done, in my opinion, but it's got to be based upon a secure border. And I think you complete the wall, especially to the point where you had it contracted.
Democrats say they're scrambling to fix the systems that were dismantled by the Trump administration meant to help deal with asylum seekers and migrants. Coming up next this Sunday in Focus, President Joe Biden pushing gun reform after 6 mass shootings in the U.S. in just the past month. Our panel weighs in. And with the NCAA tournament in the rearview mirror, we're looking to the future. What it means potentially for Indy playing host again.